sound of the gravel is poetic and anarchic in the same time.
You get a lot of the ding, ding, ding.
Just like a...
Gravel roads is like, yeah, there's nothing more exciting than that.
Yeah, really, really good stuff. Oh yeah, that good stuff.
I think for me, race like Strade or all the kind of classics, it's always a bit like, the uncertainty in your head, but then you have to take it as something positive because, you just have to tell yourself the chaos is the same for everyone, and you can create nice opportunities with these kind of chaos scenarios. So, it's a bit like you are afraid, but then also you have this hunger inside, like this fire to do something.
So I think, you come with a plan with the team and set out what to do, but I would imagine that when the race starts, it's probably 80–90% emotion, and you just you go with the race and try to do what you can do.
Emocionante, ¿no? Con la adrenalina siempre. Porque va, no sé, 60 la hora en el asfalto y de repente entras en un plano que está totalmente... no sabe cómo es. Simplemente sabe que está tierra, pero no sabe si está la roca, el hueco, no sé, si está húmedo, seco, está la grava. Yo pienso que es una adrenalina, ¿no? Porque cuando tú vas en el asfalto estás seguro de lo que estás haciendo, pero cuando entra en la grava es, no sé, diferente porque no sabe cómo está. Entonces creo que es adrenalina, ¿no?
Come on, yeah!
Obviously the road just moves a lot more under you, and so does the bike. And I think you just have to be even more attentive, but also just remember to stay really relaxed, because you have to let the bike move under you, especially when you're cornering. And if you're too tense, then I think that's when you like really slip. Whereas if you're kind of expecting it and let the bike go where it needs to go, it's a lot easier.
It's slippery, you know. That's the way. It's just loose, and you've got to be completely relaxed, you know, because you've got to let the bike do its thing rather than you force the bike to do. If you force the bike, then that's when things go wrong, I think, and you just got to. Sometimes it's hard to stay relaxed, but that's what you got to do.
You are just in a different kind of world, it feels like for me. Like in your head, you don't have so much time to think. It's more about intuition and just being in the moment, being present. So that's also what I love about these races. For sure, you have to be a bit crazy also to go for it and just not break. And of course you have to break a little bit, but just to loosen yourself up for it, so
You need to go with the flow, and something is not rolling properly, but is still fast. You feel like projection around you as well. This is something I find quite interesting. Sometimes it's very calm, sometimes you hear noise, and then in the corner you're between living and falling, you know. It's a bit indescriptible. You need to ride on the gravel if you want to understand how is it to ride on the gravel.
Feeling finish. And I'm finished.
Vibrating on another level. You're vibrating with the universe when you hit these cobblestones. I mean, these cobbles are like the roughest terrain that you can ride on.
And so you go from this sort of blissful sleeping state, and then you hit the cobbles, and it's just like an explosion of sensation. Like you're not only feeling the vibration, but you're feeling it in your leg, and it's creating more lactic acid, and you're trying to think of like, okay, how do I get through this with as little effort as possible, but also there's no way to get through it without effort. Like there's no way to ride over these cobblestones in an easy way.
You just kind of feel that the cobbles sometimes control you rather than you controlling the cobbles, you know? And when I say that, what I mean is, you know, they can jostle you around a bit. You feel a little less stable on your bike. You feel, you know, you're bumping a little bit. If you've eaten a lot of food before you get on the cobbles, you feel it. If you're drinking too much water, you feel it. And so I think they just make you more susceptible and vulnerable during a race.
If you're not in position, then it's difficult. But if you come there in good position, then you set yourself up for a nice day, and you can relax from that moment. And then it is more of legs, but everything is building to there or getting to there as fresh as possible. So I think that's actually the moment you can take maybe the first deep breath and start the race.
Always it's hectic. Like, you know, the first one is, okay, the race is on. I have to get focused. I have to be out front. I have to be there. So for me, it's more a special focus you get, and I think it's really, not really pressure or too much of a thinking. It's more of, I'm here, I want to be there, and now let's get it started. Yeah.
I think it's the first time we go onto the cobbles. It's like you kind of really feel how the day is gonna turn out. You know, like if you're on a really good day, you just like. The cobbles just feel easy, the bike is like gliding over the tops, and you just carry the speed in a different way. Whereas if the legs are not great, then you feel every single stone, you know.
Well, I focus a lot on my cadence and my power. I think you really have to go hard on the cobbles, you know, and the easier you go on the cobbles, the more they control you. The harder you go on the cobbles, the more you can control them. And so what ends up happening is everyone kind of goes full gas on the cobbles, and it ends up being a race every time you know, into the cobbles and on the cobbles. And so I think it's just important to make sure that you have your kind of ideal cadence and power that you can ride on every cobble section, and you know what that is, both for yourself, but also to hold your position in the group.
When you're totally maxed out, you can sort of fake it when you're on the road because the tarmac is smooth and you can sit in the wheels and it's like, okay, but you can't hide. You can't hide on the cobbles. It's like, if you have nothing, it shows.
How did you think you were always right? How did you think
Sound. Oh, it's like a cacophony. You feel like you're in an atrium filled with like 100 different bird species all squawking and making some different sound.
Chains and wheels and crowds and everything, just there's so much noise in the bunch, especially going up the climbs.
I think if you're on a sector like Quarmont, you don't really hear anything because all of the fans